Welcome back to the QA Ops channel. Today we are talking about flaky tests, not as an inconvenience, but as a systemic failure mode in modern delivery pipelines. Flaky tests are dangerous not because they fail, but because they fail inconsistently. Once teams stop trusting test results, automation stops acting as a safety mechanism and starts behaving like background noise. At that point, pipelines still run, but decisions are no longer driven by evidence. They are driven by retries and gut feeling. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Flaky tests are rarely caused by bad frameworks or tools. In most cases, they are the result of non-deterministic system design. The test is just the messenger, and as usual, the messenger gets blamed. They usually come from three sources: async behavior, race conditions, implicit weights, and the universal testing anti-pattern, sleep-based synchronization. If a test requires fixed delays to pass, it is not validating behavior, it is validating hope. Hope is not an assertion strategy. Shared environments, shared test data, shared credentials. When tests influence each other, results become statistically interesting and operationally useless. If your test suite only passes when executed alone at night, congratulations, you've built a very polite test suite, but not a reliable one. Differences in configuration, data, or dependencies between runs. If the same test produces different results without a code change, the system is already telling you where the instability lives. Most teams just don't listen. So how do we fight flakiness in a practical way? Let's focus on actions that work immediately. Every failed test must be categorized as product defect, test, defect, environment, defect, and even more categorizes like UI selector change. Without classification, failure data has no diagnostic value. You cannot improve what you refuse to label. Flaky tests should be tracked explicitly. Intermittent failure is not a special case. It is a measurable quality signal. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. It just makes your dashboard greener and your releases riskier. Replace static weights with condition-based polling, event-driven assertions, contract-level validation. Time-based synchronization creates tests that pass by coincidence. Coincidence does not scale, especially not with parallel execution and CI load. Tests should create their own data, own it for the duration of execution, and dispose of it afterward. Any test that depends on pre-existing data is one pipeline run away from becoming unreliable. If your test requires someone to say, "Don't touch that record," you don't have a test, you have a fragile agreement. Introduce flakiness metrics, failure frequency per test, retry counts, mean time to diagnosis. A test that fails intermittently is not mostly fine. It is actively reducing confidence in every green build. Silence here is not stability, it's just suppressed uncertainty. Quarantining flaky tests is acceptable, ignoring them is not. Quarantine must be visible, owned, time-bound. Otherwise, it becomes long-term storage for unresolved risk and short-term relief for uncomfortable conversations. To close, stable test suites are not about eliminating failure, they are about ensuring failures are meaningful. Your pipeline should fail only when something relevant changes. If it fails randomly, you are already operating in production-style chaos, just without customers noticing yet. And that's usually temporary. If this perspective challenges how your pipelines work today, that's a good starting point. Subscribe for more QA Ops content, where quality is treated as an engineering discipline, not a belief system, not optimism, and definitely not a retry button.